Welcome to Creating Disney Magic with Lee Cockerell. Lessons in leadership, management, and customer service. You can create magic too. I'm your host, Jody Maberry, and I'm here with Lee Cockerell. Of course, Lee is the retired executive vice president of Walt Disney World. And I was at Walt Disney World not long ago when my daughter was with me. We went to all four parks. And of course, we go to Magic Kingdom. And the first thing we do every time, I've told Lee this many times, we go see Lee's window on Main Street. And it's still there, Lee.
Good.
And then we went to see Dewan Rivers' window on Main Street, and it's still there. And saw Ron Logan's and some others, which brings me to this, Lee. Have you seen this book yet? It is
I, I
People
do.
Behind the Disney Parks. Do you have this book?
I do. I ordered it when it was available, and it took forever, but it finally showed up, and I have it. Yeah, I have it. Yeah.
Yeah, very nice. So
It's amazing. That's quite a book when you put whoever put that all together.
they put so much into this. There is a photos and a little biography for every window on Main Street. It's just incredible. And Lee is featured on page 221. He has an entire page dedicated to him, which isn't true for everybody. Some people share pages, and Lee has an entire page. And
I didn't know that. I'll have to look again.
yeah, now I'll tell you this, Lee, not that it's a competition, but Dewan Rivers point, he did not know about this book. It was Rick Allen when we were in Orlando. Rick got it out because Rick's dad has a window on Main Street, Bob Allen. And so he was showing us the book and he opened to his dad's page and he opened to your page and then he opened to Dewan's page. And then we noticed Dewan has two pages in this book.
Wow. That's
So that's a and he said, oh, and then Rick said, well, Lee only had one page. Dewan has two. And Dewan, he's a humble guy. He said, oh no, don't tell Lee.
Oh yeah, That's funny. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
I was
So
shocked to get one, so I'll be very happy.
yeah, it's just so neat. And having just been there looking at your window again, I wanted to bring up the book, but I wanted to tie this episode to something that we touched on a little bit last episode. We were talking about risk and taking big leaps and all of that. But there's one other piece that I think ties in really well. It's not quite as big, but it can be just as scary, and that's asking for what you want. Now, one of the biggest questions I get, Lee, is how did you end up working with Lee Cockerell? And I end up telling the whole story about you coming on, how I discovered your book, had you on the podcast, and then how that led to us working together. I don't mind telling that story, but the story I want to tell is I was around you one time and someone asked you, how did you and Jody end up working together? And here, when I'm asked that question, I tell a story that takes like 5 minutes. Someone asked you that question, and your reply was two words. You said, he asked.
That's true. And I
And
think about that a lot, asking for what you want. I think not enough people do it. I think they give up a lot of opportunity because if they had done it, quite often it would have been gone forth. Uh, I was telling you last night, I was speaking to a South American group and I gave out some books, and one of the books I gave out was time management. And at the end, I was about to leave, and one of the young ladies came up and said, "Do you have any more time management books?" I said, "No." She said, "Well, that's my biggest problem. I really wish I had one." And I said, "Okay, fine. I'll get you one and I'll send it over in the morning to the front desk of your hotel and it'll be there for you." And she asked. So, and I think so often we see that to go ask your boss for more responsibility. I need more. What more can I do? To ask for a raise. Here's what I can do. Here's what I'm doing. Here's what more I could do. I could do that also. If you get, not just because I need more money, but because I can give you more. And I think that asking is Yeah. It's like asking your wife to marry you. Pretty stressful. But this is a really important for people to have the courage to ask. Because at the end of the day, the worst thing can happen is, somebody says, no, not this time, but they got it in their brain now. They remember you. And then they might think, oh, yeah, I remember Lee asked 3 months ago, and we have some more responsibility now. We can give it to him. We can give him an increase. We can give him a promotion, and he can start doing that. You got to really look after yourself, and you got to promote yourself, and you got to let people know what you can do for them or will do for them, and ask for what you want. This in people asking in the speeches I give, it's pretty frequent now that people come back to me and ask for something. I get asked to be people's mentors a lot, and I tell them I can't be your mentor. I don't really work closely with you. I don't know, but I'm fine if you give me a call if you have a problem occasionally, and I'll help you think through it and maybe solve it. And so I think we just got to think about it more often of nobody knows who you are unless you make sure they do. And that's to be out there, be out front, asking. If you see a job coming up in the organization you're in and you think you're a candidate, put your name and say, I want to be considered for this. Maybe you will that time, maybe you won't, but probably the next time you will. Because I told you that one time the kid came to see me at Orlando when I was at Disney World and said, a college kid, and he came in and I said, what can I do for you? He had made an appointment. He said, nothing. I just wanted to make sure you know who I am. I thought that was unbelievable. And I did. I'd see him all around the property, and now I knew who he was because he said, "I just want you to know who I am." And so yeah. Don't be insecure. Just don't don't suffer from rejection when somebody says no. Just pick yourself up and do it again, and do it later, and find another way, and another story, and another. Uh, what can I do for you? Even asking your boss, what can I do for you? Uh, Ask. And people are often surprised. I think all of us, when we ask, you run into a lot of nice people who say, sure, no problem. So that's the way to get things you didn't know you could get.
I think this is especially true when you are younger. If you're in out of college in your mid 20s, almost everybody's willing to help you. You just have to ask because they're not going to think, "Oh, I should help them out." Just ask for something. Almost everybody will help you out.
Yeah. And it's an odds game. You see homeless people on the street asking for money. A lot of people say no, but a lot of people say yes. So they've figured out the system. If you ask enough people, some percentage is going to say yes. And yeah, so it's funny. Yeah.
Is there a way to ask for what you want that doesn't seem like it? So if I come to you to ask for something, how do I do it so it doesn't seem like I'm selfish or just looking out for me? How do I do it to, yes, of course I'm asking because I want what I'm asking for,
Yeah.
but how do I do it so I'm not seen as a pest and only looking out for Jody?
Yeah, well, I think it's okay to come and say, even if you said to me, "Well, I don't know if this is appropriate, but I noticed that this job is available and I think I have the ability to do it. I don't think you know about me. Could I give you my resume? And I would like to know me better because I think I can do this job for you." And I think more and more, I don't ever mind people asking me for. Sometimes I say yes, sometimes I can, sometimes I can't, and but I always give them an answer that doesn't crush them. You know, I give them kind of an alternative of how to deal with what they're doing and what they're looking for. Uh, and So yeah, it's just, anytime you ask for something, you want the person to say yes. So having the finesse on how you ask. I hope I'm not bothering you, but would you mind if you could consider this, or I'd like to meet with you just to talk about my career. I'm a little concerned about it, and if you would have time for me, I would really appreciate it. I mean, when people are not ask you in the right way, it's almost impossible to say no. And I think it's just a matter of thinking about how are you going to say it? What are you going to say? How are you going to back up what you want? And you have the facts, And there's no question. People need to know who you are in your life. If they can't help you, if they don't know you and they don't know who you are, and they don't know what you can do, and they don't know what your expertise is, so don't be bashful about letting people get to know you. And walk, as somebody said, walk up to somebody and say, "Hi, I'm Jody Maberry. I just want you to know who I am." A lot of people are reticent to do that. They're in a big room of some important, the CEO of the company. Go say hello, say hi. I just want to say hello. I admire your work and just want to let you know I'm here. Yeah. So he may say, "Well, who was that guy? Who was that guy? Let's get his name. I want to talk to him some more." So when we don't do it, it's just an insecurity in our mind that we don't think enough of ourselves maybe yet. And there's those people out there that ask. I guess if you're in sales, you got to have that in you to walk in and ask for the sale. You know, they were telling me pharmaceutical salespeople, they're on commission. They are wired totally different, man. They don't mind asking because people on salary are not as productive as people on commission. And having that peace inside you that you can handle rejection. You just blow it off and you go to the next one. Rejection doesn't bother you a bit. Uh, because you know it's an odds game. After you call on 10 people, you're going to probably sell two. So if you call on 20, you'll sell four. So and you'll get rejected a lot, but you'll sell a lot. And that's yeah, it's kind of the way it is in life. So,
I like that you pointed out just walk in and introduce yourself, even if it's the CEO of the company. Just
yeah.
do it. I was having a conversation with someone the other day where I was talking about I don't ever think I don't oh I shouldn't be here. This person is has such a big title, whatever. I truly believe I belong in every room I'm in, except the one time I accidentally walked into the women's restroom in the Phoenix airport. I didn't belong there.
I've done that.
Otherwise, otherwise I belong in every room I'm in. And I think that is an important piece because yeah, someone may be more accomplished, but that doesn't mean you don't belong in the same room as them. That doesn't mean they won't want to know who you are. I
Absolutely.
think there's maybe a piece just getting over yourself
It's
on that.
okay. They don't know you. So you're somebody. It's okay. And the worst thing is when you're in the men's room and a woman walks in by mistake while you're standing there. I've had that happen too. People not paying it. That just shows you when you're not paying attention, you can go left instead of right.
Yeah, that's
Alert,
right.
stay
I
alert. But anyway,
I
there's just
think another thing, Lee, is people already say no for the other person. And that's how I tell the story of how we ended up working together is when I asked you to, we didn't know each other. I asked you to come and be on the Park Leader Show, podcast for park rangers. And part of me said, why would the guy who ran Walt Disney World for a decade come on a show for park rangers? But I didn't know you. I didn't know whether you'd say yes or no. I wasn't going to say no for you. So I asked. And if it was going to be a no, you were the one that was going to say no. I wasn't going to say no for you. And I think so often people want to ask for something big and then they'll say, oh, Lee will probably say no. And then they don't ask.
I don't say no that much about much. I told somebody yesterday I'm working on a project, and I said, "Let me just tell you, I'm pretty easy to work with." He said, "Oh, thank you. Let me know what it is. We'll figure it out. I mean, it's not that big a deal." Uh, and I think you're right. The number one thing, the ask. That's all the ask.
Yes. Yes.
So don't be.
Our friend, the founder of Morgan James Publishing, he one of the saying I think he's most known for in my mind is don't ask, don't get.
It's
And it's true. And you have
yeah.
no idea what opportunities you missed out on because you didn't ask for it.
It's like Halloween. Knock on the door. Get some candy.
That's right. You don't ask, you don't get the fun size Snickers bar.
The more doors you go to, the better the deal is. So yeah, okay, that's great. Yeah,
Well, one thing you should ask for is to go on a great vacation. And if you don't ask for that, you won't get it. Call our friends at Magical Vacation Planner at 407-442-2694. Let them know that Lee told you to call and ask for the best vacation you've ever had in your life. They will help you out with that. If you want to know more of what Lee and I are up to, well, you can do that at cockerellacademy.com. But here's what Lee and I would like you to do. We hope this episode has encouraged you to ask for something big. We want you to try it. Ask for something big and then email us and let us know about it. Go to leecockerell.com and contact Lee that way. Go to jodymaberry.com and find me, or send an email to support@cockerellacademy.com. Ask for something big at home, at work, at the grocery store, at Starbucks, at your favorite coffee shop. Just ask for something big. Send us a note. Let us know how it turned out. We'd love to hear about it. Until next week, go out and create magic for others.